Let me get you out of this, Sam. You strike me as a big Rufus guy. Tell me something good. Big 70s music guy. Of these four Big Ten games, which one's going to tell you the most good? Iowa at Wisconsin, Indiana at Oregon, Michigan at USC, or Ohio State at Illinois?
The third one.
Michigan at USC?
Yeah, I think of all the games, that's probably the most interesting one to me.
That's 6:32, champ.
Mm-hmm. Like, watch that one. I think that one's interesting to me because of the contrast in the coaches, the styles. USC really needs to win it.
SC is favored.
Yeah, I understand that.
I do not, but
they'll get a good crowd. That's one thing, is they'll have a real crowd for that game, which is, Michigan will have their fans there too. Indiana, Oregon, I don't know what that game's going to be. That's my Big Ten picks column this week, and I'm going to have to go back and watch what Indiana does and how they do it. And they're a weird team, I think, to try to play, and Oregon will obviously do what Oregon does, but Indiana's defense is really good. So I don't know. And then what's the other one? Iowa, Wisconsin. I think that's for Luke Fickell's job. And then Ohio State, Illinois.
That's at home. It's in Madison, and Wisconsin is getting points.
Nobody knows who the quarterback's going to be. I'm actually surprised there's a line on it because Iowa doesn't.
Right now,
I think Iowa knows going into the week.
Ravi and the rest of our listeners are the degenerates. I think it's 3.5 Hawkeyes. At least it was this morning.
It's 3.5 Hawkeyes.
I'm surprised there's a line on it.
Yeah,
because I don't know. Maybe the odds makers know that Gronowski's going to be back, but that's a 10-9, real 1975 kind of game. So I don't. And now, for what it's worth, I thought Wisconsin played valiantly against Michigan. I think they played very hard, but so much is going to be on the Iowa game. They got to win it. If they don't win it, I think they're going to really struggle down the stretch. And then Ohio State should beat Illinois, but who knows?
The Big Ten is. You feel like you know more about the Big Ten or the SEC?
I spend more time on the Big Ten, so I know more about the Big Ten. And
I think
the
I know
SEC
more about the SEC.
is.
I do too.
How do we know?
I think I know more about the SEC.
We don't know Missouri. We don't know Missouri yet. We don't know them. I have more SEC teams ranked. I know that, but we don't know Missouri. We don't know them yet. We learned a lot about Texas, but now they go play Oklahoma.
I think you learned a lot about Texas A&M.
Yeah, I think Texas A&M is really good.
Yeah, they're a good team.
Yeah,
they're a good team, and they're going to be tough to beat at home. They've got to take some. They got Auburn and Mississippi State at home, and now who do they play on the road?
Well, I'll give you a toughie. You know who I'm curious to see if they're that good defensively. I am curious about Ole Miss.
I think LSU's just that bad.
Ole Miss gives me Oregon vibes. Like, I need to see Oregon against a good offense before I tell you Oregon's defense is as good as the stats say. That's kind of how I feel about Ole Miss.
Yeah, I agree with both of those statements.
Right? I mean, it's
absolutely.
Sam, to answer your question, our A&M gets at Arkansas, at LSU, at Missouri, and at Texas. So they've got it coming up.
Yeah. Boy, Missouri's going to ruin somebody's season.
Yeah, they've got it coming up here for sure. We'll find out about Texas A&M pretty soon.
At least early on, we know why everybody was making a big deal about Pabula leaving before the bowl game, because I was like, why are we talking about this?
Because he might be better than Aller.
He might be pretty good.
Yeah, he might be a better fit for what they're offering.
I think. Yeah, Kolodnicki probably would swap.
I think
he can at least move and run.
I think that's 100% true that he's a better fit with Kolodnicki.
Yeah. Well, Penn State's an interesting story now.
The James Franklin thing drives me up the wall because he's clearly raised your floor. And who do we think Penn State is? Are they national championship guys? Like, is that a national championship program every year?
They thought so this year, for sure. Yeah.
I think it's this year they thought they were. I think that's the biggest problem.
This isn't
hey,
about. I don't
listen,
think Penn State's getting rid of him.
I
don't think that's
hey, I was
happening.
gonna say, Sam, you better be careful because
it can go bad.
It can go bad in a hurry at that place.
But he might leave.
Just feeling underappreciated.
Very, very sensitive. Easily. Oh yeah. He just kind of. Yeah. Like I think he actually takes this stuff very hard and very sincerely, and sensitive is the wrong word. I think he genuinely feels bad when they lose. And but I don't mean
I think
all coaches feel bad.
People laugh at me. I think
like
it's a hard job. I think the expectation levels and versus what I think they're capable of all the time are off by a ways.
Right. And his record against top 5 teams underlines that. And I think I at this point, I think he's gotten to the point, some of his answers would indicate that he's at a, you know what? Yeah, you know what? It is me. Like you can just tell. And he doesn't actually mean that, but like he's the tone of like, well, it's not just a narrative.
Yeah, sometimes you just get tired of fighting, you know?
Yeah, like if you're not going to appreciate me, I'll go somewhere that does.
Go where you're celebrated and not tolerated. Yeah, he could.
He could go to USC. Like if Lincoln Riley is not the answer there, you can get better players at USC. And they've got a GM there who's not going anywhere. The GM's staying whether Lincoln Riley's there or not. And so, you could go to USC. You could go to other places because other jobs will be open. I think we're going to see an obscene number of open jobs. I've talked to my colleagues about this, and they look at me like I'm lunatic. I'm like, I think Wisconsin could be open. I think Michigan State could be open. I think Rutgers could be open.
If Michigan State comes open, that's ludicrous. Jonathan Smith is a good coach.
I'm not saying he isn't. I'm saying that like there's a lot of people that now that we've made this shift into the new era where so much of what you've got to do is where there's a handful of very, very wealthy people believe in you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's money. And I'm not, look, Matt Rhule is a good coach, football. He's a ball coach. But Rhule has done such a good job with the institutional and managerial things.
1,000%.
Yeah.
That's why it's so crucial Nebraska keep him.
Dude,
and if that could become an interesting conversation.
Sam,
they got to keep him because he's so good at it that like you can't assume that the next person, if there was some other person,
even if they're as good at the football.
Three things.
The Giants said we want you
to
come in and replace Brian Daboll. You cannot assume that someone would come in and do the work that Rhule's doing. You got to. I'm saying you kind of got to pay whatever you got to pay.
3 things, Sam. Why? I'll give you 3.5. Number 1, his wife loves it here. Number 2, he's tough. He's tough. Like he's not gonna he's not gonna like give in to naysayers and critics and the whispering. He's competitive and he's super bright in terms of understanding the collegiate landscape. Like he's what we want to represent us. And I get the record's got to get to where we want it, but he has all the components of what we would gravitate towards as a state. I'm telling you, he loves this place. He's competitive and he's tough.
Yes, he's Nebraskans like his East Coast personality. Nebraskans actually like someone who can come in and articulate things in a tougher way than sometimes Nebraskans will. Here's my question. So let's say they win 9 this year, which I think they got a good chance of doing. The schedule's a dream. And going out to Penn State, if they're 6-4, you can win that game. Let's say they win 9. Let's say they win 10. What kind of extension are you willing to give him? Nebraska better be ready to answer that question.
Right.
They should have given it to him last year. Now they're gonna have to sit down at the table.
Just write the check, homie. I don't care what it is.
So but what is the salary figure? The salary figure to me has got to be 7 figures.
You know what what would be cool, and I don't know, they won't do this, but because I don't think Coach Rhule wants to coach another 10 years. I think they should negotiate, hey, if you don't take another job and this is your place where, since you like it so much, we'll build in this. Can that be part of the deal? And he just says yes, because he can do so many other things other than coach. Right. So just see if you can get him to say this will be his last job. And then if you do, then you pay him accordingly. That's what I would do.
Lifetime deal. Let's do it, homie. I'm in.
I'm telling you.
Listen, again, I'm not pushing back. Pick a number. I'm cool.
If he says I'm not
questions of Rhule all the time, it's just people do not understand so Jonathan Smith is a good coach. I listen to the stuff up in Michigan. He does not have a relationship with the boosters.
I know,
so
but it's the person.
It's
the person. Yeah, there's some truth, but I'm telling you,
this is
Nebraskans. His Coach Rhule's temperament and how he attacks life. It's what you want as a state. He doesn't make excuses. He owns it. He works hard like that. It's what you want, man. It's what you want.
But he's good at making relationships with regular people. Like some ball coaches they're just remote as people. They're great coaches. They're great in the locker room, or they're great on the chalkboard, but they cannot go out and do the hobnobbing. And Rhule is good at that, and it is a crucial role now.
Yeah.
I think his coach in college, Joe Paterno, that wasn't his skill set. He wasn't going to go out and do that with the boosters. But now you've got to have relationships that are institutional and vertical, all the way to the top of the state government and all the way to the top of just, people who want to support your program. And he has that. And you have to, and Dannon does too. So Troy Dannon's got that skill set too. Got to keep those two.
Yeah.
And
I like Dannon quite a bit.
Got to keep them. Like, it's really important at this place. You probably could have just a ball coach at USC, maybe. And people would come around it and they'd love it anyway. You might be able to do that at Florida and have people come around it and be fine. At Nebraska, you need the person who can do all the things off the field, and they finally have somebody. So, like, this is going to become an interesting conversation, because if Nebraska wins 9 or 10 games, everybody's going to look and say, well, Nebraska hasn't been good in 20 years, and look at what he did. And I'm just saying, the Giants are going to fire their coach.
He's not.
And they might fire him today.
I don't know, man.
So,
I can't imagine him wanting to be back in the NFL.
Maybe not. But I'm just saying that, like, what happens, though, is all of a sudden somebody makes a call.
No, I get it. I get the point.
There will definitely be calls if they win 9 or 10. You're right.
Would you like to come coach the New York Football Giants?
I'm going to get to Vivian Leona, and they're going to be like, no, we like it here. Tell your dad.
Right.
Tell your dad.
All those
Tell your dad. Don't. We're not going anywhere.
And, like, Lane Kiffin's going to have to go through the same thing. So, like, and apparently Lane Kiffin's daughter is part of the reason he's staying at Ole Miss, because she wanted to stay there. But he's going to have to go through the same cycle again. If Alabama loses 3 games this year, Lane Kiffin's getting a phone call. Florida is going to call him. Texas might, that's just the way this thing works now.
Yeah.
And Nebraska just has to be constantly thinking ahead about, okay, what do we got to do? What do we got to do? What do we got to do? Because they got a good thing going.
Write the check. That's what you got to do. Sam McKewon, we appreciate the time as always, and good stuff. We appreciate the extra few minutes we got this morning too.
You bet. Take care.